Quick reminder that you can pre-order Core Set 2021 on cardkingdom.com right now. You can get sealed and singles, whatever you need to add to your collection, from the best place to buy cards online, cardkingdom.com. But now we got to get into the spoilers that were spoiled Saturday and Sunday, but really today. I mean, this is the best master set. This is way better than I was expecting. I can't imagine anyone out there is not thinking this looks like a phenomenal core set. All right, let's just get into the cards. The first one is a 1/1 lifelinker, which is reinforcing to me that the black-white archetype is going to be focused on lifelink. But this guy, he's the Archdemon's vessel. He's got a story to tell us, and that is when he comes back from the graveyard, whether he's cast or whatever, you're going to exile him. He turns into this 5/5 demon showing up back here. Spooky stuff. Going to be a good limited card. Don't know, I'm curious to really see what else shows up in this set. Are we going to start seeing more mono-color decks like mono red, always a thing. Mono white looking like it's got some more support. Mono black has been good, could continue to be good. Moving on to the Whale of the Tail. This thing is ridiculous. It's an 8/8 for 7 mana, casual magic. When it ETBs, each opponent gets a 1/1 red pirate. It's like, oh, okay. That token reads, this creature can't block. Okay, not very helpful. And creatures you control, as in creatures your opponent controls, attack each turn if able. That is the worst token you could probably give your opponent when they now have to attack into this 8/8 Whale of a Tail. And they can't really remove it as easy because now it's going to cost 3 more to get rid of it. You play this thing on curve, you're feeling pretty good. Jeez, Pete's. All right, we got Cultivate, the Commander green staple. Everyone's going to be happy to add a few more Cultivates to their collection, right? I mean, search your library, ramp a little bit, fix your lands. I could use more of these for my collection. Very happy to see it here. Lore Scale, Codal, Snakes. Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on it. For limited, this thing is going to be like not a bomb, but if you see this thing come down on curve, you don't answer it right away, every turn it gets bigger. Like that's kind of good. So blue-green, doing what blue-green does best, which is just be the biggest and baddest thing eventually on the board. Now we got, this isn't a reprint, is it? No. This is the instant removal for white, but it's not like removal. It exiles target creature or planeswalker. Its controller gets a 4/4 white angel. I like this card because it can be good for you. I'm assuming white's going to have some token synergies going on. If you need to create a 4/4 flying angel, yep, boom, you can do that. If your opponent gets, as I've often experienced in a pre-release, the person you're playing has a lot better luck than you when it comes to opening packs. If they got a planeswalker, at least you can get rid of it and only have to deal with a 4/4 angel after. Ideally, I'm imagining this is to get rid of the big bomb crazy card they have or get some more value out of your token unexpectedly. I don't know. I'm curious to see what other workarounds we have for this card. Then we have a crazy reprint in Massacre Wurm. Right now, it's under $20, but I'm really digging this borderless version. It's going to be a card that you're, again, happy to add to your collection, playing Commander, and in Limited will probably just win you the game because a 6/5 that wipes all your opponent's chump blockers and starts to make them lose a ton of life. Yeah, that's a good card. And it's a welcome reprint. So well done again on the reprints. Here's my favorite card to try and pronounce. A solid, I forgot the invention of it is a premium price. But point is, it's a nice $3-4 rare that you're going to, again, use in plenty of Commander games. Solemn Simulacrum. I like to just kind of say Solemn Simulacrum, you just kind of mumble it off. People just assume they know what you're talking about. What I'm not entirely sure on is he's got this like Terminator vibe, Captain America, looks like a Pepsi can I saw. It's definitely got that far more intimidating look than I think a 2/2 typically has, but I really do like the artwork. That is a pretty sweet looking card. And then here's the classic artwork that we've already seen. The Plains. We saw the island already. It was phenomenal. The Plains, equally sweet. And it is showing the plane that our Planeswalker, the white Planeswalker, Bassri comes from, which is Ket. Pretty cool. I'm not so sure I dig this alternate border on every card. Apparently, we're going to see that is linked to the Planeswalker it's dealing with. I don't like that the mana costs are kind of hard to read, right? Like, that's kind of annoying. But we'll wait and see how it looks when you're playing it in person and whatnot. Point is, Bassri's Acolyte is a pretty good common. Assuming you're in that go wide game plan, 2/3 lifelink that also puts 2 1/1 counters on, a couple other creatures, or I guess one 1/1 counter on up to 2 other creatures. For 4 mana, you're getting 4 total power, 5 toughness added to the board, as well as 2 of that having lifelink. That's pretty sweet. And then Bassri's Solidarity. This is the card that's got me the most curious as to how white weenies and just mono white aggro is going to go in constructed. This can make Elspeth Planeswalkers a little bit better. I don't know if you people are specking on those, any of those in your collection. Maybe this helps make that a bit more viable of a strategy. You get to put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Could be good in limited, could be good in constructed. Question marks to see what else is coming in the set. Card that's definitely good though is Bassri's Lieutenant. Is it Bassri or Bassri? I feel like Bassri is probably what I'm going to end up saying more often than not. Bassri's Lieutenant, Vigilance and Protection from Multicolored, which I just like for some reason. When it ETBs, you get to put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. And then when this Lieutenant or another creature dies, if it had a 1/1 counter on it, you get to create a 2/2 Knight. So you go play something on turn 1, 2, 3, play this Solidarity, put a counter on everything. Turn 4 or 5, play out Lieutenant. Even if your opponent wipes your board or starts pinging, getting rid of your little tiny guys, you're getting 2/2 Knights. That's kind of cool. I'm digging the token strategies. I've always been a fan of token strategies, so seeing Bassri show up and start making that even better, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his Planeswalker card. Kind of wish the art just looked a bit more intense for the alternate border, I suppose. Teferi got 14 different versions. This just looks like the slightly upgraded version. Anyway, officially spoiled Bassri Planeswalker card. Kind of similar to Elspeth, I guess. Put a 1/1 counter on up to one target creature. It gains Indestructible, which is awesome for limited. Whenever one or more non-token creatures attack this turn, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens tapped and attacking. I feel like there's going to have to be some good combat tricks in the set to really help get your, attacking ankle biters in. But then his emblem, -6, when you, at the beginning of your combat, I cannot read. His emblem, -6, you get an emblem. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. That's kind of good. That's like really good, because you can just sit there and win the game, as ultimates often do. Here's the normal version of Massacre Wurm, right? Same-ish artwork that we've seen before from Mirrodin. This, like the crazy borderless, just looks like I like that it's essentially the same looking worm, just like a more close-up. Like this is Instagram selfie stick portrait. This is him getting, a picture taken from a fan far away. Okay. This is probably going to be one of the best black commons I'm reckoning for limited. It's 1 black, which I'm really liking the 1 cost on the spell. It's instant. As an additional cost, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. So to me, this is great for when they're trying to remove something or exile something. You can just sacrifice it, put it in the graveyard. I'm assuming there's going to be some graveyard recursion, and then you get a 2-card draw. Or if you just like, hey, chump block, sack it, draw 2 cards, that's a really, that's good. That seems like a really good card. Okay, Pestilent Haze. Choose 1. All creatures get -2/-2 till end of turn, or remove 2 loyalty counters from each Planeswalker. From each Planeswalker. This thing's just taking everything out. I don't know how. That's something that's always been weird to me, is the black-white game plan often has a lot of small costed creatures, and their removal isn't always not hitting your own creatures. So I'm just not sure how this card's going to work in limited, how often you're going to be running it. Artwork's pretty cool, though. We got a reprint of Revitalize, gain 3 life, draw a card. Radiant Fountain, also a reprint from 2015. And Iconic Masters. When it ETBs, gain 2 life. So we got just all kinds of life gain synergies. Then we get into some spicy Chandra cards. And this Chandra's Incinerator is already the case of a lot of debate. Is it going to be good in even older formats, burn decks? Because of the fact that you can get it down earlier with the ideal draws. My opinion on it is that it's not really going to find its place in stuff like Modern. In Standard, probably. The reason I don't think it's going to work in older formats or more, let's just say, tuned formats is because this card just doesn't work as a top deck. Everything in Burn typically has to work as a top deck on its own, be cheap, damage removal. This thing isn't. If it's in your starting hand, though, and you have, the shock, the bolt, you can get this thing down turn 3, you're feeling pretty good. But besides that ideal scenario, I don't know how great it's going to be. In limited, you're obviously just going to be happy to play a 6/6 trample that essentially doubles all of your non-combat damagey type of stuff. So, yeah. Chandra's Piraling. How do you guys feel about this border, this alt art? I feel like it looks kind of cool. I know this is the same from the Chandra spellbook. I'm curious to see how it fits the theme of the set, the feel of the set, how the cards look in person. Moving on to Chandra's Piraling. Whenever Sorcery Control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, it gets +1/+0 and gains double strike till end of turn. So, yeah. Are we going to get Shock back in this set? I cannot imagine this set does not have Shock in it. Will there be anything spicier, though? There's got to be some more spicy stuff. A card that goes well with our Piraling is Chandra's Mag Mutt, which is just a funny name. Ping, you can tap it, ping something. Oh, ping only a player or planeswalker for 1 damage, but that's fine. Everything's fine. Chandra, Heart of Fire. How are we doing, Chandra? Discard your hand, exile the top 3 cards of your library until end of turn. You may play cards exiled this way. It's kind of good, especially if you just curve out really well, go aggro, drop this thing turn 5 or 6 with nothing else in your hand. Have a good time. Life's good. You just start shocking stuff. Feels good. Synergizes well with all of our other cards. Her ultimate, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. I mean, it's good, but you got to wait 5 turns to do it. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so like the 5th turn she's in play, you can do it. Search your library graveyard for any number of instant sorceries. Get to cast them, but you only get to cast them for 1 turn. But you get, I mean, you're going to have plenty of mana to probably do what you need. If you ultimate it, you're probably going to win. Point is, not sure how good it's going to be in constructed. Okay, Bolt Hound. This card feels really good if you're in that aggro game plan. I don't know if, like, the thing I'm not sure about is what is the Boros gold card going to be? Is it going to be as good as Heroic Reinforcements? Right? Is that the one from core set 2019, 2020? Create some tokens, pump everything up, swing, just obliterate your opponent. If there's something that kind of helps with the Bolt Hound getting in, giving other oh no. Oh no. Pause. All right, we're back. Is there going to be something else that helps this thing come down early and still be able to do a lot of damage, add a lot of damage to your board? To be determined. Then we have one of the biggest, just spiciest mythics. Like, if you thought, what is it, Questing Beast was a bit over the top, which it absolutely is, we got another contender. It's a 6/6 with Reach, Vigilance, and Trample. Really wish it had Haste, but I mean, you can't get everything on one card, can you? Then when it attacks or blocks, important, attacks or blocks, you get to create a 3/3 beast creature token, gain 3 life, draw a card. So basically, if your opponent does not remove this thing, immediately, in limited, you win the game. In constructed, remains to be seen how good it'll be, but mono green is, I mean, it's good right now. Does this help put it over the top a little bit? Remains to be seen. I feel like you still need something that gives it haste or just helps with it, just because if it just comes down, you're not really doing anything, especially against a deck that's not attacking into you. I'm not sure. I want to brew some stuff up with it though, because I like mono green. I like green in general. This card seems super good. Now we're moving on. Here's a reprint, which is Faith's Fetter, going to be a premium white removal card, enchant permanent. You get to gain 4 life, again helping with that life gain strategy, and then whatever you enchant can't attack, block, activate abilities unless they're mana abilities, whatever. Basically takes it out of the game for you, no problem. Siege Striker. Now we're seeing what Boros has really got going on. For 3 mana, you get a 1/1 double strike. I don't like that when it attacks, you may tap any number of untapped creatures. It gets +1/+1 for each creature tapped this way. That's not what you want to do in Boros. You want to be swinging with multiple things and pumping everything, not just all in on one thing. I feel like it'd be really cool if you could tap an untapped land to give it +1/+1 when it attacks. I don't know. I just feel like this card's going to be rough to make work unless there's just a ton of token generation. I don't know how awesome that's going to be. Probably the most adorable card besides the buy box promo in the set is going to be quite possibly the Goodest Boy. Like, what an adorable name. This artwork's great. And I guess sadly we can sacrifice it to give something else indestructible. I mean, that is the Goodest Boy. No debate. The Goodest Boy is here. He's so happy, but he's like, you know what? I'll take one for the team. I will sacrifice myself to save you. The Goodest Boy. Next is a fantastic blue sorcery, See the Truth. For 1 in a blue, you get to look at the top 3, put 1 in your hand. But if you cast this spell from anywhere besides your hand, you get to just draw 3 for 2. It's not an instant, it's only sorcery, but still, it's like Anticipate, not quite as good as Anticipate, but the upside is way higher. I should say, the low side is not quite as good as Anticipate, but the high side is way better. And then we get this person with a ton of arms. Like one in a long line of immortal iron fists. Got it. A blank trample, star trample, and it gets that its power is equal to your instants and sorceries. And when it ETBs, you can discard up to 2 cards, draw 2 cards. That's always nice and limited. I love cards like this that bring a ton of value and help you when you're flooding out, which we always do on Arena or in paper. It's not like Arena's, you know. But point is, makes you feel good about running enough lands to make sure you hit your land drops, and then helps you not flood out. Big fan. And then Tide Skimmer. Even though it's in English, I'm going to click into it anyway. 2/3 flyer. Whenever you attack with 2 or more flyers, draw a card. So blue-white is going to be flyers for the 1000th time. That's what we're doing. And blue-white is attacking with flyers. Now into the handful of cards we had spoiled over the weekend. We got this crazy ribbed Megalodon. That's an awkward name. Anyway, of course we need something with hexproof to make everyone infuriated. Here it is, a 5/7 shark. And whenever it attacks, you just get to scry 1 just to help smooth those draws out. If you can get to turn 7 and have a 5/7 hexproof, I'm sure there's a way to give it flying in the set or some type of evasion. Point is, your opponent's going to love you when you play it. And then we got Carrion Grub, which I like just because I kind of like the interaction with the graveyard. I can see some janky stuff in Constructed working. Like Ikoria, we have that 11/11 dinosaur that you can cycle away. This thing could be an 11/5 for 4 mana. Let's do it. When it ETBs, mill 4 cards, so it helps you get the cards you want in your graveyard to make this thing huge. I'm a fan. I don't know how good it'll be for like proper Constructed, but janky Constructed, I'm all over it. Then we've got Veteran Philosopher. Clearly, this guy likes to think and fight with the pen, not the sword, just kidding. Discard a card, tap it, it gains indestructible till end of turn. Nice thing about this card is that it can block really well, so for Constructed, this could be legit. Not sure exactly how great it'll be in Limited, but for Constructed, it's got some potential. Got my interest peaked. I'm curious to see, like, there has to be something in the set that rewards you for discarding cards, because there's so much that wants you discarding cards, that gives you a way to discard cards. Remains to be seen what synergies we got going on there. Fungal Rebirth is probably one of the best uncommons for green. And again, an awesome janky card. I'm going to be excited to, not even janky, like this just is a good card. The fact that it's instant, return target permanent from your graveyard to your hand. Fantastic. If a creature died this turn, not yours, any creature, you get to create 2 1/1 Saplings. So creating 2 1/1s at instant speed for 3 is not terrible if you have some synergy. The fact that your opponent can be super excited because they just removed your big threat, and then you say for 3 mana, I'm going to bring it back to my hand and get 2 bodies, that is bonkers. That is so good. Good. Okay. Rewind is the next card. I love this artwork. It just reminds me of the old school days. That's because it's from Urza's Saga. That's because it's an old artwork. But it's a card that could definitely work in Constructed. We just gotta kind of wait and see how it feels to have 4 mana up for a counterspell. Because in a counterspell battle, if this thing gets countered, you're feeling all kinds of bad. I'm curious if Spell Pierce will be back or a 1. I guess we have Mystical Dispute in Standard, so that could kind of ruin this thing's plan. But all in all, happy to see it reprinted. There's just a ton of massive whale shark creatures. I'm just realizing that there's a lot of big bodies. This one is for 7, you get a 7/7. That all your creatures your opponents control get -1, -0, which is, it's such an annoying effect. This is so annoying to deal with. Gonna be great for Limited. Again, another discard thing. Pay 1 in a blue, discard it. Discard Wheel of Fortune. Oh yeah, oh, it's like a weird kind of cycling. Not cycling, but weird discard it. I did not read this carefully enough. 1 in a blue, discard Wheel of Fortune. Look at the top 2 cards of your library, put 1 of them in your hand and other in your graveyard. That's another just kind of nice value add for a big creature like this. If you draw it in the late game and you can play it, great. If you have it in your starting hand, you need a land drop, whatever. It's like a better opt. Not a better opt. It's like an opt. I guess it's kind of like that enchantment. The whatever enchantment from Theros. Pay 2, instant speed, right? Scry 2, draw 1. It's not exactly scry 2, draw 1, but can help with, I'm assuming, the blue-black deck. I like this card even more now. That's the point. This one, I like this name. Spoopy Scythe. Did they mean to put Spooky Scythe? Is it P and K near each other on the keyboard? Got it. Maybe Spoopy means something I don't know. Point is, when it ETBs, it has a soul counter on it, so it enters basically as a give creature +1/+1. But whenever that equipped creature dies, this thing gets bigger. Or the ability, the +1/+1 counters grow on it. so it helps your creature get bigger and bigger. Okie dokie. It only costs 1 to equip, which is always nice. I'm curious to see if there's any other reason to equip your creature with this besides hoping it eventually dies. But that also lends me, could white-black have the token game plan and lifelink game plan as well? Because usually, isn't it green-white that's the token game plan? Maybe we're just playing Bant. We're just going to do 3-color fun stuff and have a good day. Is it? Wait, not Bant. No. Abzan. We will get there. We'll get there. Necromentia. Choose a card name other than a basic land card name. Search your library. Search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name and exile them. That player shuffles their library, then creates a 2/2 black zombie creature for each card exiled this way from their hand. This is... yeah, it's already over $5. Non-foil, $6.75. This will see some play, for sure. The fact that you get to remove the card in its entirety from anywhere besides exile, I guess, from the game, and they only get the zombies if they're in their hand, which is a trade-off you will make 100 times out of 100. To get rid of a card that you're naming, which I'm sure is very important, and all they get is a dinky 2/2 token? Yes, and please. Thank you. Book of Big Brain Memes. Oh my goodness. You can tap it. You get to put a page counter on it, which is kind of nice. Scry 1. Then you can pay 2 and tap it, put a page counter on it, draw a card. But if it has 4 or more page counters on it, you got to exile it, and then you gain 4 life. So it helps smooth out some draws, helps do some fun stuff. If you can remove the counters, I'm intrigued. The fact that you can also just pay 2, tap it, draw a card 3 or 4 times is kind of fantastic. I want to say, I guess it's going to depend on how slow the format is or what your game plan is. If your game plan is to draw the game out a little bit, just get ahead on cards, you're going to be a big fan of this card. Will it work in Commander? Everything works in Commander. Sure, why not? But that's really the end of it, right? We've already seen bad deal. It's a bad deal. I wouldn't necessarily jump to play that card. But we are seeing more valuable reprints. We're seeing some Commander staples. We're seeing some ridiculous whale creatures. Things are feeling good. We're starting to see the archetypes form out a little bit. It's not anything crazy so far. Everything's pretty standard with what core set archetypes have been. But I'm excited for what else is being released. I mean, this is easily looking like the best core set thus far since them coming back. I'm super excited. Love to know what your thoughts are so far, though, with the set, with what's been spoiled. And again, if you're going to order some cards, check out Card Kingdom. I appreciate them sponsoring the channel. And if you go and use my affiliate link, let them know I sent you. Thank you so much. Thank you to my patrons who, without you guys, I would not be able and keep doing this. Just means a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. But that's going to do it for us here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.